Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle with you on a Thursday. I had to think for a minute. COVID and all. So thank you for joining me. We're going to talk about what you can expect for this upcoming weekend. The weather kind of keeps doing one of these things. Anytime you're dealing with Arctic air, the forecast can change rather quickly, just depending on if that Arctic air oozes in or if it gets held up. A lot of times it likes to ooze in, so we'll see what happens to our Sunday as a result of that. So thanks for joining me. Thanks for liking the video, sharing with your friends and family, all that kind of stuff, and supporting me on AT's weather. Speaking of support, I see you, Philip, with 100 stars tonight. Jared's in the house also with 50, and Renee started the night with some stars, so thank you, thank you, thank you. Diana's on a 2-week streak. She just threw me a few, so I appreciate you. So if you'd like to send some stars, at the bottom of the screen when you type in your comment section, a little star icon, you can hit that on Facebook. On YouTube, you have to do the super chat function. They don't have a stars function there, but we'll see what happens over time. All right, let's talk about what's going to happen here. Janine, I see you. Let's get to the models, right? And if you're hoping for some good news on mine, you came to the wrong place. All right. So here's a look at the upper levels of the atmosphere. I'd like to start with the jet stream pattern. And we're going to put this into motion for you. Chayton, I see you. 2-week streak, brother. Not bad. Let's see. As we head into time, we're going to watch. This is, by the way, when you see the bright colors, that represents lift in the atmosphere. And these little lines, these little wavy lines, represent the jet stream pattern. So the air flows between these lines, so to speak, right? Okay, so that's kind of how you can visualize it with me. Just don't throw that out there. All right, I see you, Tammy. Thank you for the stars tonight. As we go through time, we're going to watch to the north a couple of things. One is this little batch of energy. This little color right here you see on the map, this is upper level disturbance coming our way. It's going to generate some cloud cover, a little bit of rain. Might even squeeze out a few snowflakes. Hey, Don, I see you there. Thank you. And we're going to also watch up here in the north into Canada as a stronger upper level low, and it's actually part of the polar vortex develops, and that's what's going to bring in the Arctic air for the body of the country. And that's just what it's going to really turn things sour for us. But that little system will move on by over the weekend. You can see the polar vortex taking shape here in central Canada, spiraling around up there. Look how it dips into the northern plains in the Great Lakes area. Anytime that happens, Katie, bar the doors because it's going to get cold. So what does that look like when we look down at the surface? You know, we know what's going on upper levels. We know what's going to happen to drive that front end. Hey, Larry, I see you. Appreciate you. Bruce, thank you, thank you. As we head into time here, watch the purple on the map in Canada expand. Those are temperatures in the -20s and -30s degrees Fahrenheit. That's not even negative Celsius, right? So that's just brutal stuff up there. They're going to be paying up in Canada big time. Now, if you notice here on this map, for Saturday afternoon, you don't have to go very far. This is the Oklahoma-Kansas border, and you've got the Arctic air. So we're this close here for it sneaking in here, and that's why I think Sunday might be bad news for some of this. We're going to show you that close up here in a second. But what I want to show you first is a big story about how all this Arctic air will continue to plunge southward and southeastward with time here as we go into the forecast period for Sunday, on into Monday, next week, and on into Tuesday. More of that Arctic air keeps piling southward. Wednesday, it just keeps on coming, right? The hits just keep coming. Thursday, I mean, look at that purple stuff. This isn't just in Canada, man. This is down here in Kansas and stuff. This is just brutal, -20. So this is pipe bursting weather. This is the worst of the worst. That you just don't want to see for a long-term period of time. We're going to have it for at least a week here across the country. This pattern is not going to go anywhere. So there's until the cold air completely is exposed or expelled, and then kind of starts to moderate. So later in the period, there are some signs that may try to warm up with some downslope up here across the Rockies into western Canada and the western northern plains. But we're still cold here. I mean, this particular model, the Europeans, got us at 12 or 13 degrees on the morning of the 14th. So again, this is all the way through middle of February. So it gives you an idea of what we're looking at. Now, let's get to the specifics as far as what's going to happen here for this weekend. First, I want to talk about a little bit of a change in the forecast for Saturday. So we'll take a look at the precipitation. So we'll go with the European model here to give you an idea. We'll back this up here. So Saturday morning and a Saturday afternoon, early afternoon, there's going to be that disturbance moving through, right? Well, it's going to have a little bit of batch of light rain with it, and the models are indicating it, especially in the northern counties, you might be cold enough for a few snowflakes mixed in. I do not think it'll measure anything significant. I think the rain, however, might it be like a quarter of an inch, something like that. But that's going to move off to the east. So the best shot of rain for Saturday is going to be from basically Woodward into central Oklahoma, and then maybe points to southeast Oklahoma, and then maybe something like this. So this little boxed in area. So in other words, nothing down here in southwest Oklahoma. Yeah, that's for the morning hours. There's the afternoon. And then moving on out rather quickly. So that's a quick moving wave. So I want to tell you on Saturday, there will be a little bit of rain around to speak of. Now, how are temperatures looking? Well, Friday's looking actually pretty decent, so we'll just start you off with that. Also keep in mind, it is going to be very windy coming up on the weekend period, and I'm going to show you when that is. By the way, if you look through time here, so we're going to be, of course, chilly tonight. No big deal, right? Standard protocol. Now, tomorrow afternoon, actually not bad, up around 60 degrees. I can deal with that here across the state. Then as we head on into Saturday, we do have that cold front that'll be making its way through the state. And you can see temperatures are kind of in the 40s here in central Oklahoma. They cool down, though, from the morning into the afternoon as more of that colder air sags in. Look, we're into the upper 30s. You see what I mean, how that Arctic air just kind of oozes in here? The biggest bulk of it hits northeast Oklahoma. So Tulsa will be at 26 degrees by 6 o'clock in the evening. But you can see how that Arctic air kind of backdoored in. In other words, so the front colder air kind of spilled in backwards, and that does happen with the Arctic air a lot here in Oklahoma. So that's why I'm saying, Saturday, although it may look like it's going to be nice originally, like for example, the morning hours, let's go back to the morning period. We're about 7 a.m. So we're in the low 40s here. Then we jump, upper 40s briefly, and you're thinking, hey, Saturday might be a bad day. But by lunchtime, that front comes through, and then it all goes downhill. Now, that's not the only thing that we're going to deal with on Saturday. Let me show you the wind gusts. Remember how windy it was on Thursday? Same idea here for Saturday. Here's Saturday wind gusts in the yellow and red. That's wind gusts up close to 50 miles per hour at times. So that's some nasty wind that'll be coming through with this colder air. Now, the good news is a lot of times with these stronger, colder air masses, the strongest of the winds does not mix down into the surface layer. So in other words, they're usually a few hundred feet or maybe 1,000 feet off the ground. So the extreme winds never do quite make it down, but you will get wind gusts easily to 40 and plus out there for Saturday. So just kind of keep that in mind. All right, now let's move on into the weekend time. So I'm going to change frames here, and we'll see how things look temperature-wise for our Sunday. Let me see here. I'm going to see if this was the model I wanted to use. And it might be. Let's take a look here. Here's Sunday. So this is the bad news I have. Remember the Arctic air oozes in here for Saturday, right? Well, usually once Arctic air comes in, it's very shallow and doesn't mix out very well. So kind of once it's in, it's in. So unfortunately on Sunday, we're at 35 degrees, 38, 36 across central northeastern Oklahoma during the daytime hours on Sunday. So it's going to be cold. It's not brutally cold, but it's seasonably cold. Then we're into Monday morning, and then this is where the leading edge of the Arctic air decides it wants to come on in. And so that's when things go downhill, is during the day on Monday on into next week. And we'll just give you an idea of what we can expect. Keep in mind these actual numbers will deviate and change with new model updates, but what you're going to take home is the trend. So here's Monday, for example, and we may briefly warm into the low 50s before the front pushes through early afternoon. So it's one of those deals where you might start out the day semi-nice, but then the front crashes on in, and we're right back into the 30s in no time. And then from that point forward, cold air kind of keeps reinforcing day in and day out. So you can see your temperatures stay into the 20s. This is Wednesday lunchtime. As we head into Wednesday evening, we're still in the 20s. Thursday morning, we're teens and 20s likely. As we head into Friday, maybe it gets even colder. So here's 12 degrees here in Oklahoma City, 8 degrees in Bartlesville toward the end of the next week. So we kind of get progressively colder as more of that colder air builds in. Here's Saturday morning on the 13th. We're at 3 degrees in Bartlesville. We're 5 degrees in Ponca City, 10 degrees here in Oklahoma City. And then we get into the negative numbers as we head into Bartlesville for Saturday morning. Into Saturday afternoon, we'll rebound to the teens. Woo, what a nice warm-up, right? And then back into Sunday, we're still back in the teens. So we got some pipe bursting weather coming up for parts of Oklahoma. Usually 15 degrees Fahrenheit is about the magic number. And then you have to be at 15 degrees for a certain period of time. And 24 hours will do it to get some of those pipes to burst. So remember, it's one of those deals you leave your cupboards open and protect the outdoor pipes and all that kind of stuff. You might as well do it at any point in time between now and through the weekend, through Monday. The really cold stuff like that doesn't happen until mid to late weeks. You've got a little bit of time to prepare, but plan on that being expected. Last thing I'm going to talk about is any participation. say precipitation, Aaron. Say that right. In the extent as far as snow goes. All right. Remember, I told you there's still plenty of systems coming in line. We just have to time it out right and find one that's a strong enough signal to produce, some significant snow. We'll look at the American model for this, and it's always a caveat to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway because it's really the only one that's been exciting so far to look at, and that's in the extended range fall for here's Thursday for next week into Friday. You do see this pink stuff on the map, and you also see the blue. So what that means is it's a pattern for snow and then sleet. So here's a look at the sounding. We have a little warm nose at about 800 millibars. So this warm nose will melt the snow that develops above that layer, gets into those little sleet pebbles, and then it refreezes into the Arctic air and falls down. Sometimes, if it's deep enough here, you can get it going back to snow. If this isn't too deep of a warm layer, you can get a mixture of sleet and snow in this profile. But we're gonna look for a mixture of that, assuming, of course, this model pans out. For later in the forecast period for Thursday and Friday of next week, maybe a lot of sleet in this particular case. That's some pretty heavy sleet signals with this particular storm, and it's a two-dayer. So it's a Thursday and a Friday, with a little bit of flurry activity too. If we were to look at precipitation totals, this is just for fun because remember, showing snow totals this far out is a is a recipe for disaster. But we're going to do it anyway. So a Thursday and a Friday. So here you go. The model has about 4 inches of snow here in central to eastern Oklahoma. It's not bad. We take a look at, I'll do the ice, but it's not going to have a good count on the freezing rain. It's got a little bit here in southeast Oklahoma, about 1/10 of an inch. What it is not able to do is differentiate the forecast of 4 inches of snow with the sleet. If you get a lot of sleet mixed in with that snowfall total goes down to nothing. So just keep that in mind. Later in the week, we'll be focusing in on that. So if we look at the rainfall potential for Saturday, I skipped right past that. Let me hit that here real quick. Let me try the NAM. I forget which one I liked. Too many maps, right? Okay, so yeah, this is good enough to give us an idea. All right, so this is the forecast for rainfall amounts as we head into Saturday morning through Saturday evening here across central and eastern Oklahoma. So about 1/4 of an inch and maybe as high as a 1/2 inch for some lucky folks that need some rain here in parts of eastern Oklahoma. So this lets you know that's for the rainfall, and that's gone up since prior days and prior forecasts. So that's some good news just for the precipitation part of it. The ensemble runs for this is averaging only about 1/4 of an inch or less, so it's not as gung-ho as that one model, but hey, at least it's something. Some of the ensemble models had actually produced some snow with the Saturday system, but I think it's just going to be a couple of degrees too warm. I think it'll be, snow aloft, but it will melt into rain with temperatures in the upper 30s, like 38 degrees, say versus, 34, 35, where I think it would snow at that point. Now, we'll see. I mean, when you're dealing with cold air situations, sometimes, you can get surprised. But right now, I'm leaning toward just the liquid stuff. Here's the American model here that also seems to think is going to be snow. A lot of its ensembles for central Oklahoma. Let's see, which it went nuts because it doesn't make any sense. It's got like 5 inches of snow, 3 inches of snow. I don't know where this even came from. Honestly, I think it's just completely out to lunch. But it's got, later in the period, on the 11th and 12th of next week, it has a secondary signal for snow. That one's more likely to watch than this first one. I may have to eat my words, but for right now, I'm going with just the rain. And if we do look at the extended when it comes to some of the ensemble looks for a winter type storm for that Thursday, Friday time frame, there are several signals here in some of these panels. There's one there from the control run. Here's one there. There are not very many of them. They're kind of few and far between. But the signal is there. It's just not quite placed right. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the extended. So don't get too excited long term when it comes to a winter storm. But remember, the big story is going to be the Arctic air. So here's a look at a not so conservative, leaning toward the colder side of how things ought to look in the extended for next week. Once we get past this weekend and we head into Monday night into Tuesday, that's when the bottom really drops out. So there you go, daytime highs in the teens and 20s for the next several days, all the way up for the rest of next week and the following weekend. Then maybe finally getting out of the 30s as we head toward after February 15th with a slow rebound in temperatures. Overnight lows will be in the lower teens. Would not be surprised to see some single digits in here. Now, I just picked Oklahoma City for the to show you this as the trend. Other towns will obviously be just as cold, if not colder, especially when you talk about northern and northeastern Oklahoma. And then when you're talking about southern Oklahoma, obviously you add a few degrees to that. This is just to kind of give you an idea of what is on the table and what we're going to be dealing with. So I hope that woke you up. So if you haven't been watching my broadcast the last few nights, that is what we've been talking about here, and we'll continue to kind of track those changes with time. And that's all she wrote. I'll jump around here real quick for the comments and see if I can catch a few of them. So good to see you, Tammy and Victoria and Jim and Paul and TV Van Harley on YouTube. If you're on Periscope, Twitter Periscope, if you want to shoot a question or say hi real quick, you can do that now. Let me load this thing back up. I usually have these things turned off whenever I'm showing maps and stuff because I can't read and look at what I'm doing this whole time. All right. That is not what I want. Refresh. So I'm going to go to my Patreon page and see what you guys have to say. Let's see. Something. My live video got flagged. What in the world? Look, man, I'm about to take Facebook out back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we got a problem. Anyway, it flagged my live video and it didn't even post it. So, punks. Bite my tongue. Don't bite the hand that feeds you. Anyway, all right, so sorry, patrons. I'll have to figure out why Facebook blocked on the Patreon page, but let it go on the main page, and it's been the same video all the time. It didn't like something in the description header. It went against their policy. I got a policy for them. All right, let me scroll through some of your comments. Janet said, did he say 10 degrees? I sure did. Jolynn can handle the 20s and 30s, but she can't handle the single digits. You'd be surprised you can put up with for a little bit. How far south did it go? Central Texas, Janet. Oh, it's going to go way down there. Remember, it's a thing that'll impact the entire country. It'll actually head to Mexico. Now, you won't get into the single digits down there in the Central Texas, but you're definitely going to get below freezing. Tommy, Thank you for the stars, Curtis. Right. I'm thinking participation trophies, precipitation. I'm not sure what my brain was firing on. Wouldn't be the first time. Monica, thank you for some stars tonight. Let's see. She says, "Hey, Aaron, listen to you more than TV guys. Are usually spot on." Well, thank you very much. I do my best to try to give you the best forecast. Joanna's in the house. Thank you on a 2-week streak. Let's see. Ronnie, what are you using to show the weather and you at the same time? A trade secret. I cannot give out my secrets. Remember, I built this thing from scratch from the beginning. Years ago. Pioneer. I had to figure it all out myself. So, sealed. Diana, thank you again for the stars. Let's see what else we got here. Nate, he's been wanting some cold air and snow, so he's gonna get the cold air at least. He's down there in Lawton. Carla wants to know about the ground temperatures. Well, obviously they're fine now, but later on in the next week, yeah, they're going to suffer too. They're going to go downward. Brittany got her notification tonight. Good deal. Hey, sometimes Facebook's nice and sometimes, not so nice. Let's see what else. Jerry, you're a rebel. Let's see. Well, Michelle, love you right back. Right. Okay, so you're welcome. All right, school closures. Well, for the schools that are open, I guess once it gets to a certain cold temperature, and there is a risk of some pipe bursting activity, and it's too cold for the kids to be out at the bus stop, that does happen. Now, I don't know all the specifics for each school district or superintendent. You're going to have to check in with your local school district on that stuff, and or dare I say it, watch the news for that information. I'd probably just go and contact your school or go to their website and find that information and save you the trouble. But that would be something to do for your kids. With this kind of forecast, I assume you don't have an in with Punxsutawney Phil. All right, so here's the deal with old Punxsutawney Phil. That's a 19th century tradition that continues to this day. It provides no value, no service. I honestly think it's very asinine and stupid, but that's just my personal opinion. It's a rodent that mankind bring out and play with and then put them back. You know what? If they got nothing better to do, go right ahead. Does it mean anything to me as a meteorologist? It means absolutely jack squat. So, same thing with the Farmer's Almanac. It means jack squat. Back in the day, when you had centipedes crossing the road and you had to use animals to try to forecast the weather, hey, I get it. You got to do what you got to do. But they also sold snake oil in a roaming cart that went down the town square. So, a lot of things have changed since then. So I kind of go on the upper technology, which is why you're here, because it gives you better forecast than what that other stuff can do. But anyway, all right, so I'm just goofing at this point. But I want to appreciate you guys watching tonight, and we'll update you again probably tomorrow evening about same time, same channel, and over the weekend as well, and just get ready for the cold. All right, guys, you've been great. Thanks again for all the stars tonight, and we'll see you and talk to you soon. Sleep well. Take care.